and respects. This great book, Shiva Sutras, this book is the essence of the great research and development done by the Vedic seers for thousands of years. This book is the essence of research and development done by at least 1 million inner scientists who worked in the consciousness, who are constantly doing research with various techniques, with different meditations, in different kind of lifestyle. At least 1 million inner science laboratories exist in India, which is alive, used every day. Please understand, 1 million inner science laboratories. When I say used every day, which receives worship, which is visited by people, at least 1 million. If I say which exists, which is not used by people, we have more than 10 million inner science laboratories. Means temples and ashrams and mutts where this inner science is practiced, where this inner science research happens. The temples, mutts, ashrams which is frequented by people, which is used by people every day, is more than 1 million. 1 million inner science laboratories, 1 million inner scientists. One more thing, when I say 1 million inner scientists, I mean the people who have given full time. Full time. I am not counting the people who are voluntarily doing on their own. I am counting the people who are registered, organized. At least 1 million inner scientists. Full time who are in this same field of working in inner consciousness or in the inner space. This book is the essence of that technology. This book is the essence of that great science. And at least 1 billion people practice this technology all over the world. This technology of the inner science, inner space, at least 5,000 years of research and development, at least 1 million inner scientists, 1 million inner science laboratories, and 1 billion people practicing this technology. This book is the essence of that technology. This book is the essence which gives those techniques. Here, Shiva is using every opportunity which rises in our life to give you the glimpse of the Atman or the higher consciousness. You may call with any word, Nirvana, Atmajnana, Brahmajnana, God, whatever word you may call, the experience beyond mind, the experience beyond your intellect, that is what we call the experience of consciousness, which gives you the deep feeling of fulfillment, which makes you feel enough. Really the life is worthy. Yes, I have lived. I have taken this body really for some purpose, which gives you the feeling that you are needed, which gives you the feeling of fulfillment. Shiva is using every opportunity, everything, every inch in the life to give you that ultimate experience, to give you the great knowledge, to give you the glimpse of this wisdom, this experience. Today we will enter into the 55th Sutra. Shiva has spoken 112 meditation techniques. It is around 200 sutras. Today we are entering into the 55th Sutra, maybe 29th meditation technique. In that 112 meditation technique, 29th technique, in the 200 Sutra, 55th Sutra. Every day we are working on one sutra and one meditation technique. Today we will be working on this sutra, this technique. Before entering into the technique, I will read the original words from Mahadeva, Shiva himself, in Sanskrit. Then we will see the translation. Then we will enter into the technique. We will enter into the understanding of the technique. Let me read the Sanskrit words from the Mahadeva, Shiva himself. Pinancha durbalam shaktim dhyatva dvadashagochare. Sanskrit is not just linguistic, it is phonetic also. Even the pronunciation plays a big role. It is not a linguistic. Sanskrit is not the language of prose. It is a language of poetry. That is why it is not used for ordinary purposes. This is the language used only for inner science. It is used to express the technology of the consciousness and used for worship. This is the language in which practically all the research and development about the inner consciousness happened. That is why even the pronunciation has got something great in this language. Sanskrit means highly, intensely developed, I can say nicely developed, cultured and developed. This language is cultured and developed by great enlightened masters. That is why even the sound, phonetic importance is something which we need to understand. Pinancha durbalam shaktim dhyatva dvadashagochare bhavishyak hridaye dhyayan mukta svadantriyam apnuyat. Let me read the literal translation. Having meditated on the gross and weak Shakti in the Dvadasha Indriyas, thus making it subtle, one who enters the heart space and attains mukti, becomes liberated, takes the jump into ultimate consciousness. This is a literal translation. There is a great commentator called Abhinava Gupta, who is called Bhashyakara of this book. In his commentary, he gives few tips for us to understand this technique. Here, if you read straight away only the sutra, you may not be able to get a complete view, an overall view. The commentator gives a few more tips to understand this technique in a very deeper way. Let me read the translation of the commentator's commentary, then we will enter into the sutra itself. Nowadays I feel, let the original also be preserved, just to preserve these originals. Recently I started repeating even the original sutras and the commentaries also. Let the people understand the source, especially in the West. Slowly, people have forgotten the roots of the yoga, the source of the yoga. Nowadays I am listening many names like a super deluxe yoga. And what all yogas I am listening, I was shocked. I can never think all these names. All these names I don't know from where they originated. And so many names for yoga, but they forgot the roots of the yoga is in Yoga Sutras, a great book written by a father of yoga science. People who are teaching yoga for 10 years, even they don't know who is the father of yoga. If you ask them who is the father of yoga, I don't know, Swamiji, I learnt only from this person. They lost the roots. They lost from where it originates. For the sake of convenience and comforts, they took only the few portions. But when you lose the roots, the essence is lost. I always tell people, when somebody doesn't know Sanskrit, they cannot teach authentic yoga. Please don't think I am fanatic. I am not fanatic. I am not making any fanatic statement. But I tell you, when somebody doesn't know English, can he talk about Shakespeare? Can somebody understand Shakespeare without knowing English? No, never. Shakespeare has to be read in that language only. You cannot understand him by reading the translation. You may understand what he said, but not what he is. Understanding what he said is too superficial. You cannot have a complete view. Understanding what he is, only that can give a real vision. You need to understand the very roots of the culture from where the science originated. Only then you will be able to have the maximum benefit. That is why in India, teaching is always done orally. We call the ultimate teachings as Shruti. Shruti means heard. What is heard? Not read. Please be very clear. Not read. We have a beautiful word for ultimate teachings, the Vedas. Shruti means what is heard, not what is read or what is memorized. Memorized is Smriti. Memorized and remembered, recalled is Smriti. What is heard is Shruti. That's the ultimate teaching. Means we believe in teaching through the oral traditions. We believe in teaching, we believe in learning directly from the person who is living that culture, who is living that tradition, who is living in his life, not who learnt from books, not who learnt from videographs, not who learnt from some media, who learnt from the authentic source. from the oral traditions. That is why we always say the ultimate teachings as Shruti means which is heard. Understand, if at all you wanted to have the maximum benefit from the great truths and knowledge of Eastern culture, go into the roots of the culture. If you are learning yoga or teaching yoga, learn little bit of Sanskrit. Learn to understand the meaning of the original words. You will see a totally different dimension, transformation, not only in your profession, even in your personality. The very word yoga is defined by the yoga master, the father of the yoga, yogaha chitta vritti nirodhaha. Yoga is cessation of mind, not directly connected to physical health or good looking. Please understand, yoga is reduced just for physical health or looking good. But the original root, the word itself means cessation of mind. Actually, when you go beyond mind, you will have the health and you will have something beyond beauty, what we call grace. Beyond beauty, grace, both will happen to you as a side effect, as a byproduct, when you understand what is really meant by the word yoga. Same way, if you go into the roots, only then you will understand what is exactly taught. Even if you miss one or two small things, you will miss the essence of the technique. The whole thing will be lost. One essence missing is enough to lose the whole truth. That is why I am taking you to the root from where the whole Jnana Ganga or the river of wisdom originates.